So to have you set up. So let's see right here. All right. And then we set this up right there. Okay. Okay. Let me see. And then camera. Okay, one more application to download. This is a very big. And let me see camera. Got a new computer, so that's definitely what's going on here.
Okay, I understand.
About 4 applications that go into doing this. So I think the class is online now. Let's see. We won't interact with you guys. We want to let you know that for this event, this is just going to be me and Floyd. Okay, they're saying you're looking great, Floyd. So
thank you.
It's very good. So I'm glad they can see you. So let's see. Let's see here. We are just one thing away from doing this. Okay. All right. So then we go. We can have you there. Okay. And now, can you see me, by the way?
Yes, but I think the screen is frozen.
Okay, let me do this then. Share screen. It's frozen?
Yes.
Let's see what you're saying. Yeah, I can see that it's frozen. So give me 1 second. Let's see if let's do this. Could you call me or let me call you right back. Okay. All right. And let's see if we get that. Okay, so that turned on. Okay. I think we're on.
Okay, yeah, I can see you now.
You can see me now. Yeah, I thought so. I can't see you yet, but I'll be able to see you soon.
Okay.
I think it's coming on. Let's see. Okay, so I should have been able to see you. Now I just can't see you. I think we're set.
Okay.
Let's see here. So I am. There we go. Now I can see you, Floyd. Okay. So I think we're going on live soon since we did this. Everybody that's out there on the live class, you will not be interacting with us. This is just me and Floyd. He is going to be presenting for your class, for the decisions class. So give him a good vibes out there for your grade. So no pressure there. Okay. But I'll make a few jokes. We haven't been able to. I don't believe that. Let me put this a little closer. Really, this is going to be more for everybody else to see how we interact, right, for the course. and hopefully it goes well. We have I have the presentation here next to you. You don't see it, but hopefully you see it on your screen.
Yeah.
I have the decisions presentation team in slide 1. Then I have what is enlightenment 2. They have enlightenment can be achieved. Does it look familiar? 5 is freedom to learn. 6 is pros and cons. Life classes is 7. 8 is using the 5 whys, which is great. Traditional online versus online classes. What is synchronous, asynchronous? Number 10, we're going to probably spend the most time on. Asynchronous professor is teaching style. Okay, keep it going. And then we pretty much end, there's quite a bit, so I'm going to pretty much end to 19. I'm going to be telling you which slide it is, okay, so we don't get lost in it, because I know you can't see it. And we're going to record up to a point. So right now we're recording up to a point of the presentation. So I want to say that we haven't started yet. Okay, so we just because we're on. So, but this is going to be one of those things that is not like in the Hollywood where there's retake, stop, go. No, it's just going on. Okay. And cross fingers, it looks good, Floyd, because this is the first time I'm doing this. This is actually my goal is I'm going to make a deal with your class. Those who have 1,000 words to write will get to put 500 words together on paper instead, if they could share it online. And they can share this online so they can see it. So do you have any questions, Floyd?
As of right now, no.
Do you mind if we share this online on social media for the sake of education?
No, I don't mind.
Well, good. Thank you for your contribution then, okay? I really appreciate what you're doing. And for those who are part of this. And last things, any last things? I don't think I can answer to the class. Hopefully you guys are on. But I believe it is recording. If they could see us, it should be doing it. Give me 1 second. Let me just confirm that they can see us.
Okay.
Can you see us? If they can see us, we're on. Let's see. What do you think? Yes, they can see us. Okay, so Jennifer has given us the okay. All right, we begin in 3, 2, 1. Good evening, class. This is your last class for the semester, decisions class. I have one of your students co-lecture with me, Mr. Floyd. How you doing, Mr. Floyd?
Good. How are you?
We are now on your project phase. This project's a little bit historic in the sense that we are now co-presenting, co-lecturing for your class, and we'll go back and forth. Please give us a little bit of patience on how we're doing this. But you've never really heard. Give me 1 second, Floyd. 1 second. Okay, 1 second, Floyd.
Okay.
I am next to the AC, and the AC is just turned on. So, and we had it perfect. So there's no other way because it's a closer thing. By the way, video time, for anybody you guys need to know, video time, if we were in professional mode, we would have makeup artists and we would look less sweaty, but we don't. So we have to be close to the AC. That's the way it works. So it's so funny. All right, so I'm waiting for that to turn off, and then it should. Can you hear something in the background?
No, I can't.
Okay, we may have to do it without it. I don't know. It's not just turning off. So, all right, I'm going to give it about 1 more minute. Okay? 1 second. Okay, it's now off. All right. Okay, so we're going to start again. All right, same way. Last take. I promise you we wouldn't do it, but we're going to have to do it. 10 minutes, so I'm kind of checking the time. Probably about 6:17. Let's see what the class says for last minute. I can't hear it. I can't. Okay, well, either way. All right, ready. Let's see the light. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Good evening, class. This is Professor Puente with your last class for the semester, and we are now on the project phase. This is your presentation with Mr. Floyd, your classmate. How you doing, Mr. Floyd?
Great. How are you?
Thank you for volunteering to be the presenter. In this project, we had a producer who won the proposal, the argument, and created a team. And there's a team that we'll be introducing here, actually right here. And Mr. Floyd is the presenter here. Floyd, your last name is Arsenault?
Yes.
Arsenault. I'm glad I spelled it correct. I pronounced it perfectly, right? And of course, you have Miss Katie Hofmeister, who was the designer of the project. Miss Ariane, who was another designer. Amanda, Erica, part of the designer team. And of course, Jennifer Nandal was the producer who won the proposal. So we've entirely done an entire project for the semester where someone came up with a good argument, won it, created the team, and this is the product you see here today. So hopefully, and this is all part of an online class. None of us have seen each other face to face, which I think is great because it's so 2019. And we are still here in front of you giving you a little presentation. So let's begin with what the argument that won was about. And this is about, I'll begin it because I'm the one that kind of put the subject together, which is, what is enlightenment? Have you read the essay?
Yes.
Good. What do you think about the essay? What is enlightenment?
I agree with it 100%. It kind of reminds me of something I talked about in my Principles of Management class.
Okay.
And it kind of goes hand in hand with like maturity and you kind of like figuring yourself out in a way. And right. I really agree with that.
You know, it's Immanuel Kant. So, and I want to tell you, Mr. Floyd, actually, one of my favorite philosophers. I don't agree with everything he says. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But this one essay in 1784, he pretty much stipulates, is the beginning, is one of the essays that tells you the subject up front. The thesis is not at the end of the introduction paragraph like every English class we take, right? It's at the beginning. So it was, enlightenment is a man's emergence from his self-imposed nonage, which we use maturity. And immaturity is the inability to use one's own understanding without the guidance of another. So, and what I like to say is that as a college student, if you can keep this one essay in mind and his actual motto, which is sapere aude, which means dare to know, as you go through college, you have weapons that you could use through life. So what is, for you, what is a moment that you may have realized that sapere aude, knowing something is really important, it really helped you?
Besides like knowing my information to take a test, I would say knowing how to manage your money.
Wow, pretty good. And that example was great only because so many people try to, at a late stage of their life, to understand who can help them manage their money, and they start to get to the point that they realize it's just themselves.
Yeah.
The interest is only for you to grow your own, because they start to get these managers, these actual financial managers who somehow always guided back to commission or guided back to payments. And it seems to go back to, well, you may need to understand what you're doing for you to grow your own wealth. So great example. And let's go from Immanuel Kant and how it relates to non-traditional teaching methods, which is like what we're doing right here, right? Online class. What do you think about this slide?
I feel lives as a whole, I think it's like a really good feature to have for online classes. Okay. Because most of the time it's like, it's basically self-taught sometimes, because most teachers don't really give you everything. You have to kind of research it deeper besides what the book says and what the little stuff they give you online.
So it's a little bit of sapere aude, right? Dare to know for yourself. Yeah. And I will tell you this, online education has been hurt a lot because people don't know if it's even an adequate type of education, Floyd. It's a real shame. But when it's done correctly, when it's done in the essence of please understand it for yourself, I believe it actually goes deeper than the typical face-to-face structure. So it's a hurdle. It's an absolute hurdle. And this is just with college overall. So many students work hard to get their grade, but forget to grab the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Forget to get the product. So freedom to learn. So you have here with Kant in his essay, he says, it is more nearly possible, however, for the public to enlighten itself indeed, if it is only given freedom. Enlightenment is almost inevitable. It's almost Kant saying like we're gonna run into enlightenment, right?
At some point we will, yeah.
It's not, and you hear the word enlightenment, and people are like, and remember his essay is called "What is Enlightenment?" As if does it exist? Does a miracle exist, right? But he's actually saying if you're just given the freedom to learn, just like in online education, you may just run into it on your own, right? That's the whole phrase of sometimes the blind squirrel gets the nut. It just finds it, right? So let's go to the next slide from your team. Pros and cons of online schooling. Could you take us from the cons on your end?
Okay, little face-to-face interaction.
Okay.
The need for more self-discipline to get work done.
Okay.
Lack of time management skills, and requires more self-direction.
Right. And the irony here is that the last one is what Kant wanted to say. You should have more self-direction, but it's almost seen as self-direction as a con in our society, right? And I'll go to the pros of traditional online education now, which is flexible scheduling, faster completion. You can get this done, faster than the typical semester. Study anytime, log in from anywhere in the world. Access to more colleges, no commute, which is nice because a lot of us spend time in a commute, right? And potentially lower cost, which is huge. I tell people, Mr. Floyd, that face-to-face may be better than online education, but it's just more expensive. It's less efficient. And accredited programs, right? We can actually now be in school with the credit. You can even be in school with Harvard. So in online schools. So now we go to live classes. Our online live classes, while not traditional, not required, offer a certain type of freedom, correct? Students have the choice to, in our class, in Professor Puente's class, to either do the essay for 500 to 700 words and contribute through writing, or you could actually be in live classes like what we're doing right now, YouTube live classes. As we speak, Mr. Floyd, there's actually your class looking at this live class and seeing face to face to us online what's going on. So those are the two choices they have. Those that choose to attend the live class learn about real life applications regarding decision making, like you're doing on yourself, right? And online live classes encourage us to get creative, collaborative, and use our own free thinking. That's what we're hoping. So that's what we're facing. We're facing my method of doing online education versus what's going on out there in the traditional online setting. And I do give choices. I do get, some people don't want to be live class like as we're doing between you and I. Some want to write on the content afterwards. So let's keep going to see what, so there's a 5 why statement that goes with your class. If you could just take us to 2 of those. In fact, the first 2.
First 2, okay. Some students argue that they actually felt like they interacted more through Professor Puente's class as opposed to other online courses.
What do you think about that?
I agree with that because for me, I know in the past I kind of didn't take my online classes as serious, but having these live set for one day out of every week, it really helped me kind of stay on track with the online class. Good. I'll take you to number 2, which is, Professor Puente, synchronous. And this is what I'm really proud of you guys. You guys picked up the term, the college of education term of online education. Right now, Mr. Floyd, there's 2 schools of thought on online education. One is asynchronous, which means not at the same time. We put it out on the internet. You come back whenever you like. And synchronous, which is what we're doing right now as we speak, having a class live. And Professor Puente's synchronous classes helps students to get out of their comfort zone, interact through discussion, like what we're doing now. Okay. Now, the other 3 points, while really important, right? This second point is probably why I have you here. A lot of the universities are trying to understand what works to make online education go the extra distance, become as close as possible to face-to-face.
And I believe that this is the key. I am a synchronous professor. I am a synchronous I'm in that team. Okay. And only because I feel like when you take the time out of your comfort zone, you take this time today, Sunday, you got out, you placed yourself into a position when you got to do a presentation. And even though you're not here with me, you're still active and interactive. And the way the brain works is that you usually remember what you put your most effort to.
Yeah. So kind of like hands-on thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then we'll keep going into more about traditional online methods versus live class. Remember, it's asynchronous versus synchronous, right? What does Kant say about that?
That is why there are only a few men who walk firmly and who have emerged from nonage by cultivating their own minds.
Right. There's a few. There's actually a few that, yes, want to get up and put on a suit and discuss something with me on a Sunday afternoon. And congratulations, Mr. Floyd, you're one of the few. And I mean, you volunteered for this job, and I gotta say thank you because you wanted a little extra, because the minimum was just to write an essay or to go in. And however, you wanted to pick up a little extra. Kant was saying, for every one of those who want the minimum, there's going to be those who want more. So, and that goes to my point that schools, universities should definitely give both methods, not just one method. That's right. Asynchronous is probably going to be the most desired route. And synchronous is going to be for the few that want a little extra, that want to get that out of the comfort zone, but still just can't, not just afford it or some way, not just by monetarily means, but they may be able to want a little extra without having to pay the extra time or price, right? So this is what we're doing in this presentation, Mr. Floyd, just to push universities hopefully to realize that maybe synchronous online education may work. So here we go. We're going to describe what is synchronous. What's synchronous again?
Synchronous is an online class that requires you to meet at a scheduled time weekly and participate in the live class.
Right. If you're out there on social media trying to understand what are we arguing about, is that synchronous gives us more sapere aude. It gives us more enlightenment. Synchronous. What is asynchronous? Asynchronous is just the idea that students learn the same material at different times and locations. And because asynchronous involves the ability to maintain communication without having to meet at the same time, we argue that that doesn't give you enlightenment. That it just doesn't get you the extra mile. And we remember, we're trying to be in college to get closer, to run into enlightenment, right? To run into it. So, and there's different viewpoints. Believe it or not, there's people that stand their ground on asynchronous, and they believe that asynchronous is it, that is the future of education, Mr. Floyd. But the truth is that we don't know. We don't know, but we like to at least set up a camp for it, right?
Yeah.
Set up a camp for it. So asynchronous education, which is what the typical bigger percentage of online schooling is, versus Professor Puente's teaching style. What do you think, since you've gone through my class all semester? What's it say about Professor Puente?
Live classes via YouTube in real time with the focus on student interaction via discussion.
Got it.
Group chat encourages social interaction, group discussion on a daily basis.
Okay.
Social interaction is a big part of synchronous learning. There must be at least 8 students to meet quorum for live class because it will create a healthy discussion.
So what I've been doing every semester, I tell the online class, hey, if you want to have a live class, I need 8 people. I got to have an audience to speak to because it's hard to speak to yourself, right? It's only fair. So out of the 20-something, 8 people show up. And when you show up, we have live class. We record that class and we send it to the asynchronous crowd. And we say those people who want to benefit from the students from your different pays, like asynchronous says here, or the one that much interaction, but just want to listen to the video and then write their thoughts on paper, then we'll do it that way. So let me tell you, Professor Puente, I do not believe that it's asynchronous versus synchronous. I believe it should be a mixture. So this is where we're hoping. It's just that we're hoping the universities realize add that little bit of sauce of synchronous to the people that want a live interaction, that want a little extra from the online, and then just create a better soup, right? A better soup where the enlightenment can actually occur. So hopefully this is what's happening with this presentation. So you put a graph together.
Yes.
And I guess this is comparing asynchronous versus synchronous education as in favorability. Is that what it is?
Yes, throughout the past 3 years.
Throughout the past years, this is a United States kind of poll.
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right, and then you've actually put a poll together in our class, right?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Evaluated criteria based on factual matters. So you asked the class, and 42.1% of the class prefer Professor Puente's method. 47.4% said that it helped a little, that they thought it helped a little, and 10% still wanted traditional. So some people would think that's reverted, but in the class is about 22. Overall, I mean, I could see that these numbers still have some percentage on whichever method they want, which is good. Good. I'm glad you guys used that in the presentation. That was good idea. Thinking outside the box, right? What's it say?
According to an article about teaching innovation, use of diverse coaching techniques was designed to encourage innovativeness and foster student creativity, push students through roadblocks in the innovative process, help guide students out of their comfort zones, and reflect various types of supervision students might encounter in their futures.
So Kant keeps actually stating that part about comfort zone. It's just he uses a different 1784 word, right? But it always goes back to that, getting you out of your comfort zone. If you're in a comfort area, you're probably not going to learn. Learning is outside the box, exactly what it's stating in this slide. So that was a good slide. Kant goes to talking about, grades and learning. The spirit of freedom is spreading beyond the boundaries, which he meant Prussia, even where it has to struggle against external hindrance established by a government that fails to grasp a true interest. When one does not deliberately attempt to keep men in barbarism, they will gradually work out of the condition by themselves. So again, Kant speaking, getting out of your comfort zone. In his era, it was an era he thought the government was not adequate, but we needed to get out of a comfort zone to get a better government. And whether people believe we have a great government today or we could have a better government, he's still saying we should get out of a comfort zone to make it so, right? So, right. So it never hurts to go towards sapere aude, dare to know, right? Dare to know. And that's what we're trying to do. So how does grading affect online learning? When grades aren't frequently, students tend to get anxious, which we've been experiencing. But yeah, it's very true, by the way. A lot of people care a lot about their grades, which I believe, me too. I've been a student for years. Actually about 12 years I've been a student. I am just becoming a PhD candidate, hopefully very soon. But you worry about your grades, right? But what about that last statement?
By removing the burden of grades, students can freely immerse themselves in learning. The journey to releasing oneself from grades isn't easy, but like Kant said, they will gradually work out of that condition by themselves.
In other words, what I try to tell you, Mr. Floyd, is that you're not going to get your grades until a certain date. Okay? And I promise it to you. So that way no one asks, and maybe they just concentrate on how's the learning. Now, with grades, I am very sensitive with. I want people pay their money for certification, which is grades. But at the end of the day, another part of education is knowledge. And that's important here. If you can pick up the knowledge and the grades and the certification, then you're going to be okay. So remember, education could be certification and knowledge together. And that's what I'm hoping to get there, right? So in conclusion, go ahead.
It is a fallacy to assume any teaching method is better than another in terms of helping students achieve enlightenment. Through our intellectual humility developed in Professor Puente's class, we will evolve into better decision makers. With the cognitive effort in our sacred right, we can take the road less appealing in order to reap the full benefits of achieving educational enlightenment. By using deductive reasoning, we've concluded that Professor Puente's synchronous classes help guide students towards the path of educational enlightenment.
I can tell you this. I've done this class for about four years, 4 years, and I love that statement. I really appreciate it. That's what I wanted to get you guys. Educational enlightenment. That sounds great. I mean, I wish that could be the grade I give you, EE instead of A. EE. You've gotten it, but let me tell you this, Mr. Floyd. And I think this is how we end. Thank you so much for your work. Thank you for the team. Thank you for the class. It looks great. I'm hoping we push not two things. I'm hoping that we push students to not just try to get grades, to not just put a piece of paper on the wall, which will mean something to you, but to grab the knowledge. There's a gentleman out there on social media who's a business guy, Vaynerchuk, who's his point is that we don't need college, that college doesn't give us that enlightenment. And I don't know if he's right or not, and hopefully not, because I'm trying to be a professor myself in higher education. And let me tell you, he makes a point. If we professors don't push enlightenment, if we're just gonna push a grade system, then what's the point? You got to leave with knowledge. You got to put some meaning behind that paper. And one last thing, I'll tell you, Mr. Floyd. This semester, in the past semester, and about 2 semesters, I have been definitely going through a little bit of a out of a comfort zone experience myself. And 2018 and 2019 have been out of the comfort zone for me, personally, family-wise, in different methods. And for some, it could be medical, it could be all types of issues. Mr. Floyd, I'm gonna tell you, Sapere Aude can encompass the very best in you when you're going through a tough time. It means don't just listen to a professor. Don't just listen to a doctor. Don't just listen to a preacher. Don't just listen to a attorney. Learn it for yourself. Become your co-attorney. Become your co-professor. Become your co-agent. Your co-everything. Your co-police officer. You have to do it for yourself to be enlightened, because that's it. That's knowledge. Knowledge, sir, is salvation. And whether you believe in God or you don't, or you believe in government, you don't, knowing that it's important is what saves you, right? Well, thank you so much, sir. It looks a great, wonderful presentation, and I think that we've accomplished.
Thank you to the team.
Yeah, of course. Any last words you want to say to them?
You guys did an amazing job. It was great working with you all, and I really appreciated your class, Professor. I've learned a lot. I feel like I'm a better decision maker now. Definitely.
Good.
And I hope to keep learning.
And to you guys and those who have made that extra effort, the EE, please let me know how I can send you a recommendation letter. I tend to do a good job getting people jobs, actually. So let me be that background. Let me vouch for you, okay?
Okay.
Have a good one, sir. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.